Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Cooking with Caldwell. Today we are going to prepare a sponge cake in the microwave, believe it or not. I'm going to show you a nifty trick using a CO2 or a nitrous charger. And you can find these on Amazon, eBay, Bed Bath & Beyond. There's a lot of uses for these, and I'll show you a neat way to make a quick and easy 45-second cake in the microwave. So first we need to gather 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 4 large eggs. We'll have a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of whole milk, a ½ cup of all-purpose flour, and we have some nice mint and fresh whipped cream and a raspberry coulis that we'll garnish the plate with. We'll go ahead and get started mixing our batter. Start with our eggs first. Anytime you're cracking eggs, always crack them on a flat surface. You never want to crack them on a sharp surface because you'll have bacteria on the outside and you don't want that to get inside your egg. So always crack it on a flat surface. That way you can open it up. You won't get that bacteria on the inside. Give my hands a nice wipe. First thing we're going to do is add our 3 tablespoons of sugar to our 4 eggs. Go ahead and get our pan hot. And this cake is called a brown butter cake. So we're going to take our butter, put them in a warm pan, and we will melt that down. And butter has 3 components. It's composed of fat, milk solids, and water. So what we're trying to do when we make brown butter is to toast those milk solids just a little bit to give it a slight nutty flavor. So anytime you melt butter, you'll notice the white particles floating around, and those are our milk solids. So if you ever hear of clarified butter, that's butter that's been simmered low and slow until all the moisture is evaporated, and then we skim the milk solids out, and all you're left with is pure butter fat, or milk fat, if you will. I'm going to melt that butter down. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. Get this out of our way. So that's why you want to be careful if you're sauteing with butter or cooking with butter, because the milk solids will burn real easy. So that's why in the industry we like to use clarified butter, because it raises what we call the smoke point or the burning point of oil. So if you use whole butter, that milk solid will burn real quick. It'll turn your product real bitter. Now we're melted. Now we're just waiting on those milk solids to turn brown. While that's happening, I'm going to whisk my eggs and sugar until it's a light pale yellow. And notice the whisking motion that I'm using. A lot of times you're used to holding a whisk with your whole hand and doing a counterclockwise motion, but you will not get the longevity of whisking something going that way. Your forearm will give out really quick. If you want to come back to our butter, you can see how it's starting to turn brown. So I'm actually going to turn that off. See how those milk solids are turning brown? So So just turn it off and let it sit there and cool. So I try to tell my students to get in the habit, instead of holding your whisk like this, turn your hand over and hold it like this. This gives you more control, more speed, and your forearm will not give out as quick. So you'll go clockwise instead of counterclockwise. See how I'm going way faster? Smaller motion. My hand's not moving as much as you would if you were going this way. See how you're moving your whole arm? So I go this way, I can go faster. And it does feel weird at first. It does, but you will get used to it. And once you get used to it, you can go way faster. So my eggs and sugar are starting to turn a pale yellow. Instead of a golden, we're starting to get pale, right? I'm going to add my ½ teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to whisk in 3 tablespoons of whole milk. Just going to whisk that in. I'm going to add my ½ cup of flour. Level that off. Scrape down the sides real good. We're going to whisk till it's a nice uniform batter. See how nice and brown my butter is now? So it gives off a nice nutty aroma, and it changes the whole flavor profile of that butter. I'm going to add a little bit at a time because it's still warm. So I don't want to add it all at one time. Perfect. Smells great already. Make sure we scrape the sides. Now we have a nice uniform batter. Real even, you can see how that butter changed the color slightly. Nice brown to a tan color. All right. So we're actually going to cook these cakes in a paper cup. And a paper cup should be a grease lined paper cup. If you can't find those, you can use pan spray. That'll work just as fine. So we'll take these paper cups and we will put 3 holes in the bottom. These holes are going to help steam evaporate, or escape I should say. So we're just going to poke 3 holes on the bottom, just like that. And I've already did these cups. So I couldn't find 8-ounce cups, but normally I would use an 8-ounce cup. I believe these are 4-ounce. So I'm going to use 8 cups instead of 4. What we're going to do is take our charger, Carefully, we're going to pour our batter right into our charger. Right. We're going to take our top, screw it right on. This is our gas charger right here. This is what our gas is in, and this is a nitrous capsule. You can get CO2 if you can't find nitrous, but today we're going to use nitrous. Slide that in, making sure we don't thread it. Screw that on. Get it nice and tight. And this just helps the product to come out uniformly so it don't go everywhere. So we're going to screw that on top. Now we're going to shake. Make sure you don't hit this lever because that's going to release it. So we're going to shake it. This is going to build up pressure. This is going to aerate our cake batter. So it's really going to come out more like a foam than a liquid. So I would say shake it for a good 1 to 2 minutes. Turn it upside down like you're shaking a martini. Like I said, you always want to use paper cups, don't use plastic, they'll deform. You can't poke a nice hole in it so it won't let the steam escape. Same with ceramic or a glass. Always want to use a paper cup because it's crucial with an aerated batter that steam can escape through the bottom. That'll give you good rise. All right, I believe we're there. So if you want to come in close, we'll start filling our cups, and we're going to fill these cups about 1/3 to a half of the way full. And you can see how that comes out to a foam. See how much air that pressure adds to that batter? It comes out quick. So it takes a small squeeze of the handle. Normally, I would put this in the microwave for about 45 seconds on high, but since we have 8 cups instead of 4, probably going to do about 50 seconds to give it a little more time. Just open our microwave, slide it right in. Let's do 50. Start. Always make sure your microwave's on high when you're doing this. And while that's cooking, we'll come start dressing our plate. So you look at our finished product. I have a raspberry coulis, which is essentially raspberry, sugar, a little bit of acid like lemon juice, cooked down and then pureed. So we're going to dress the plate with some raspberry coulis. This is all objective. You can put as much as you want. Now when your cakes come out, it's essential that you let them rest for at least 1 to 2 minutes. We're going to flip the cups upside down, and let them rest, and let that cake stop coagulating, stop cooking, and just let it start to cool. So let's check them. All right, we are almost there. Let's go for about another 7 seconds. We should be okay. Perfect. So again, you can use these chargers for whipped cream. You can put heavy cream, sugar, a touch of vanilla, charge it with a charger. You got whipped cream that you can leave in your refrigerator. You don't have to worry about it falling. You don't have to buy Cool Whip or Ready Whip. You have whipped cream whenever you need it. All right. Perfect. So as you can see here, a couple finished products. Nice sponge cake. What we're going to do is flip these over either on a plate, cutting board. Just let them rest. The reason we flip is so they don't lose their height, because they expand. You take all that time getting your aeration into the cake batter. That's what helps it rise. So we flip it so it don't sink back down. Flip, flip. Can get rid of these. While these are resting, I'll show you how we chiffonade mint. Chiffonade is a knife technique that we use for herbs, leafy greens, cabbage, anything that you want to get a small, thin cut. So we take those leafy greens, lay them flat, and we're going to roll them onto each other. Then we're going to take our knife, do a nice thin chiffonade. So you can do this with basil, sage, mint, cabbage, collard greens. Now you have a nice thin cut. So we're going to add that to our bowl. We use that to garnish our plate. So these have been resting. Yeah. Look great. So we're going to take a paring knife, just run it right around the edge. Just going to pull that cake right out. Just like that. This is a great thing to do with kids at home. They're not waiting an hour to an hour and a half on a fresh baked cake. They get to help mom make this in the kitchen, then eat it 45 seconds later. So this is technically a sponge cake. So we'll bring our plate over. Let's get this out of the way. So what we can do is tear some pieces off. Dress the plate. Put one in the back. Tear some more pieces off. Dress the plate. You can scatter them out however you want. So I'll dress that one. Got some beautiful fresh whipped cream. So I'm going to make a quenelle. Taking 2 spoons, we're just going to scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. This gives us a uniform shape. It's not just a dollop of whipped cream, it's more uniform. Put that right there. Some beautiful mint on the plate. A little bit on top. There you have it. Sponge cake in the microwave. Thanks for joining us at Caldwell Community College. Hopefully you'll join us again next time. My name is Chef Corey Hooks, and it's been a great pleasure spending time with you. Thank you.